Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Wednesday, July the 30th, 2025. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
Laying it for you again, people. Craziness on hashtag Justice for Bradley, which is now hashtag Justice for AO, or that's short for Astin O'Banion. That's ASTIN O'Banion. And one doesn't go without the other. She was found dead, nude, on the ground in a yard a day after she gets out of jail and she gave detectives and law enforcement an account of what happened to when Bradley Strassner was murdered, and all the information passed a polygraph, and then she gets out of jail on a probation violation, which you don't get out on. They take her from the jail in the middle of the night to her residence to retrieve some evidence, or something in a box, and let her out. And she, being the witness, ends up dead. So one case goes, and they said she didn't have a mark on her, and I have the autopsy, and I also have the photographs of her body, and she, was severely damaged in several places. So y'all, hashtag Justice for Bradley, hashtag Justice for AO on TikTok, Facebook, wherever you post. Please, especially about this case, please put those hashtags. I do hashtag Justice for Bradley and hashtag Justice for AO. And I answer every single comment on TikTok, because the TikTok world started this case, and a lot of our tips are coming through that. Now a lot more are coming through our other social media and the 313 RLRC tip. We have media getting involved again, and I'll talk about that later on. But I have so many tips, y'all. Honestly, goodness, I can't even reach back out to everybody yet. And of course, some of them are really valid, and some of them are, there's a shooter on the grassy knoll that killed President Kennedy, right? So, but every one of them has to be worked. Go look at my TikTok and follow me on TikTok, because I'm doing posts about it almost daily. And I just played a recording of an anonymous tip that was called in that talked about how Detective Vance shouted down the hallway when Astin was in jail and said, "Get her ready for a polygraph. We're going to Lake Charles," in front of God and everybody. And the caller says that everybody on the female side heard. Well, that's true, but guess what? They got trustees always in the hallways, cleaning the hallways, moving around. Everybody could have heard. And it only takes one more person. And the day after she was found dead, a female puts on Facebook, "Snitches get ditches." All tied together. I'm gonna bust their fucking ass. And so please go listen to the series if you haven't, and go follow us on TikTok. And now, Patreon of Convicts, we are putting up the full autopsy report for you to read this week. It's a lot of medical jargon and stuff, but it's a lot of good information in there that proves that, I can't say it proves that law enforcement's lying, but it proves they were, well, no, the photographs it doesn't matter. It's going to be up for y'all. And this next episode I'm going to be diving further into the autopsy. Last week I only got as far as the death certificate and talking about that. Very, very important. Nothing to me is more important than solving these cold cases. And yesterday we dropped a episode of Behind the Scenes, which is Sheriff Jason Ard's podcast, where I was on it as a guest, and we dive into Miss Barbara Blunt's case again. The other one that we have continuously, it's been open all these years, and already this morning we've gotten 4 tips. So sharing and this stuff works, y'all, and I wish we had had all this back in my day when I was a detective. So there you go. I'm sorry, I was rolling off of the mouth this morning, but it's very important to me, y'all. And I hadn't even got boots on the ground yet, but that shit's coming. And it's not free. So I'm not sorry that we have so many national commercials and sponsors. It's because it's good for us as a business. And we got to make the money to pay for the investigations and everything else.
Right.
Right. And that when I do go boots on the ground, I don't know how long I'll be gone for. And then I don't know how we're going to work out the podcasting, but we'll get it done. And let's roll.
All right.
All right, y'all. It's unfortunate. It's a horrible deal, and need to bring it to you. And nothing is more dear to my heart than this. And we talk about this stuff all the time. It's from Fox News. An off-duty New York City Police Department officer was fatally shot in Manhattan on Monday, and has been identified as 36-year-old Didarul Islam, who's a father of two, whose wife is pregnant with their third child. Now, Islam is an immigrant from Bangladesh. He was one of 4 people killed when 27-year-old Shane Tamara opened fire inside a Midtown Manhattan office building on Monday evening. Tamara, who is a Las Vegas resident with a history of mental issues, began shooting in the lobby before moving to another floor and later turning the gun on himself. Now, the office building housed both Blackstone, which is an investment firm, and the NFL headquarters, among other companies. Islam was working security for the building when he was killed. President Trump called the shooting tragic and said that he trusted law enforcement to get to the bottom of why this crazed lunatic committed such a senseless act of violence. He also expressed sympathies to the loved ones of the victims and concluded, God bless the New York Police Department and God bless New York. Now, police officer Didarul Islam represented the very best of our department. He was protecting New Yorkers from danger when his life was tragically cut short. And that's according to NYPD, what they wrote on X. Now, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch mourned Islam in a post saying, "May police officer Didarul Islam's memory be a blessing." New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who is a former NYPD officer, met with Islam's family and attended the dignified transfer of the slain officer. Adams said that Islam embodies what this city is all about. He's a true blue New Yorker, not only in the uniform he wore. And the mayor ordered all flags on city buildings and stationary flag staffs to be lowered to half staff until further notice in honor of Officer Islam. Now, they said Officer Didarul Islam died as he lived, a hero and a protector of New York City. We will never forget you. Adams told Fox 5 New York on Tuesday that it appeared as though he was going after the employees at the NFL, but he took the wrong elevator bank, which is how he ended up on the Rudin's management floor. And New York Governor Kathy, I don't know how to say her name, Hochul, expressed a similar sentiment, saying he represented the very best of New York. An immigrant from Bangladesh, he joined the NYPD to protect his city and gave his life doing so. He leaves behind a wife, 2 young sons, and a third child on the way. We hold his family in our prayers tonight. She also ordered flags, half staff, in honor of Islam and the other victims of Monday's shooting. It's crazy. It just goes on. And now, of course, they go to talking about guns and all that stuff. But Blackstone executive Wesley LaPartner was killed in the shooting, and the names of the other 2 victims have not been released yet. And the NFL confirmed that 1 employee was seriously injured, and that's according to Commissioner Roger Goodell. But they haven't identified the employee.
That's so sad.
It's crazy. We were doing a live show at Southeastern, and the head officer that was there for security, he and I started Southeastern together all those years ago, and he's got like 6 months until retirement. And I told him on the way out, I said, bro, just do me a favor and don't get killed. He said, oh, no, man, we're safe here. We're safe here. I said, bro, all the school shootings and the mass shootings and everything. He said, well, we're safe as we can be, and we're prepared if that happens. You know, we train a lot, which they do, which is a good thing, but it just, hell, I don't know what you do anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I hate it. Prayers for Officer Islam and for all the victims, and just another crazy deal.
In the department. I mean,
yeah, all the everybody that love them,
sisters.
brothers and sisters. It's a brotherhood and sisterhood. It's a family. You know, when you're put your lives in each other's hands every day, it's something you'll never understand unless you do it. So
no, I mean, I can imagine it affects like just the whole community, even the first responders, because you got to know all the EMS workers.
Absolutely. Everybody.
You know, everybody.
So when they talk about the mayor went on the different departments call it different things, but it's kind of like an honor ride from the morgue to wherever they're going to be waked, whatever. Now, what most people don't know is they have the honor guard, and that Officer Islam will never be alone, even in the mortuary, even at the funeral home, until they put him in the ground. They will have, in full dress uniform, officers to stand guard over him 24 hours a day. Yeah. I mean, you can cry that time because it's going to make me cry. And you know, I come against these officers and like Detective Vance. You know, I don't have anything personal against that dude other than he's just an idiot. They, according to everything that's come out, and there certainly are bad cops. I get that. I've put them in prison. You know, people on this case are talking about, oh, nobody's going to make them answer, That's bullshit. They just, last week, 2 weeks ago, a couple police chiefs in the state of Louisiana got arrested. But I knew 2 separate sheriffs, 2 separate departments, 2 separate charges that are now in federal prison. And one of them died in federal prison. So they, sooner or later, you got to fucking answer. If somebody steps up and takes on the fight, like we've taken on the fight for Bradley and AO.
You got a lot of heat when you turned over the document, all of your everything for Courtney's case too.
Had to, but I didn't just turn it over.
I mean,
to Cedric Green. I turned it over to, after I was told and I believed in Tanner and them that they wanted to step up and work it, and they didn't give a damn. Right, same thing. West Baton Rouge. Those guys stepped up and different cases and things. There's certain amount of new blood that actually bleeds blue and gives a damn, like Officer Islam, gave his life. He wasn't even on duty.
No.
So there you go.
Oh. Well, I'm going to go take us back to February of this year, and we're going to Houston, Texas. And a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old were planning a mass attack at Memorial High School in Houston. And investigators say, this is what caught me. The girls had discussed planning pipe bombs throughout the school and using guns to carry out the deadly assault on student and staff. I have not heard of a girls' school shooting yet. Oh, maybe I have.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
And the one in Knoxville.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, anyway, the threat was discovered online and quickly escalated to a multi-agency response. The FBI's threat mitigation team coordinated with Spring Branch ISD, which is Independent School District Police, the Houston Police Department, and the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. And so within 30 minutes of receiving the tip, both girls were located and taken into custody. So thank goodness they weren't able to act this out. But the 16-year-old is a former Memorial High School student, was arrested on campus, and the 15-year-old was a student at Willis High School in Montgomery County, and she was picked up later that day. At the time of their arrest, no explosives or firearms were found, which led authorities to believe the plan was still in its early stages. But they were glad that they were able to act swiftly and, find it in its early stages. So 5 months later, in July, earlier this month, both girls pleaded guilty in separate juvenile court proceedings, and the older teen admitted to charges of conspiracy to commit murder and possession of a controlled substance in Montgomery County. And then the younger girl pleaded guilty to making a terroristic threat, which is a third-degree felony. And the hearing was in Harris County. Both were sentenced to probation until they turn 18 in order to undergo psychiatric and mental health treatment. Prosecutors have emphasized the gravity of the threats and praised the rapid response that prevented the tragedy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times these kids and shit will talk about it. Not really the ones that talk about it that you have to worry about. It's the ones that don't talk about it. But, thankfully it didn't come to fruition. And I'm about to give you a twofer. It's time for Worldwide Crime. Going out to Australia, right? And to an airport. Well, yeah, to the Brisbane at Perth airport. And this happened on July the 14th. We'll lighten it up just a little bit. Not really light for the crew members, but they had the dude on the flight, and he got told to take his seat. I don't know if they were getting ready to land or whatever, but he's standing up, and the flight attendant says, "Sir, please take your seat." And he told him, "Go fuck yourself." No, they were preparing for departure. And he's like, "No, I gotta use the bathroom." They're like, "No, you need to take your seat. We can't pull off and shit until you take your seat." And so he's like, "No, I gotta use the bathroom." They're like, "No, take your seat." And he then pushed the crew member.
Awesome.
Okay. Right?
Okay.
So the crew member then ran to the principal, which is the captain of the airplane, and said, "Hey, look, we got a serious problem here," right? And captain calls in to get the police from the airport, which are kind of like the police at universities, right? They just sit around waiting on shit like this to happen. So the airport officers went to the gate and removed the man from the plane. I'm pretty sure that's general wording of they skull drug him. And while they were doing so, this guy continued to be an asshole, and they said he was uncooperative with the police, which makes me doubly believe that they removed him gently in law enforcement terms. The police shared an arrest image of the man being taken away from the flight, and he was wearing a white button-up shirt and black slacks. The police did not say if he appeared to be under the influence of alcohol or any other substances at the time. Now, the AFP inspector Peter Brindle said airline crew members worked to ensure a safe journey for all travelers, and that any aggressive or violent behavior towards them was unacceptable. The AFP has a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to the assault or mistreatment of airline staff, and anyone who commits such an offense can be prosecuted. So this dude was 59 years old, and he's been charged with one count of assaulting a crew member, which they say, I guess it's got to be some Australian terms, contrary to the section 318 of the criminal code. But if found guilty of this charge, he could face up to 14 years in prison.
Wow.
He should have sat his fucking ass down. So he goes before the Perth Magistrates Court on July 29th, and they said there have also been a number of unruly passengers flagged in airports across the United States, and the FAA said there have been 934 unruly passenger reports in 2025, and that was as of July 27th. That's 934 fucking assholes holding up flights.
They need to put them all in one jail together.
They better not ever did, but I'm on the plane.
I don't understand why people. What do you get? Losing your patience. What do you get? Like, how does it better?
Well, since 9/11, you get some jury in a hotel room, be in the jail cell. So the FAA said anyone who's flagged as unruly passenger may face felony convictions and fines up to $37,000 per violation for being an asshole. They don't say asshole; they say unruly passenger.
I just don't understand what you get out of being an unruly passenger.
Well,
I mean, it's not going to make the plane fly faster or make you get there sooner or...
Well,
I don't get it. Well, I wonder if you ever got to pee.
I don't know. It's time for Family Matters. It's time for Effed Up Professionals.
So we have a Minnesota state senator that we're going to be talking about today.
Right. Shout out to our Minnesota lifers.
Yes. So Nicole Mitchell served as a Minnesota state senator representing a suburban district east of St. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
A Democrat and a former Air National Guard lieutenant colonel. So former National Guard Lieutenant Colonel. I can't talk. Colonel. She earned her seat in the state Senate in 2022. And she was representing the Woodbury and Maplewood area. On the night of April 22nd, 2024, police responded to a report that someone had broken into a Detroit Lakes home. And it was the home of Mitchell's estranged stepmother. And her name was Carol. And when officers arrived, they found Nicole. And Nicole was in the basement of the home, dressed in black.
This is
the senator.
The senator and former colonel in the military and everything else.
Yes.
She's dressed in black.
She's dressed in black.
In somebody else's home.
In her stepmom's home.
Oh, her stepmom, yeah.
Carrying a flashlight, the flashlight had been covered with a black sock. I
know.
You know better than me. She told officers that she had come to retrieve belongings of her deceased father, specifically his ashes. And her stepmother refused to give it to her. And at the time, the two women already had a strained and contentious relationship. So during their arrest, Mitchell told officers, "I know I did something bad." She later testified at trial that her true intention was not theft, but rather checking in on her stepmother, who has Alzheimer's disease, and denied intending to steal. But she dressed in black in the basement.
That's what a defense attorney told her to say.
A Becker County jury deliberated for just 3 hours before convicting Mitchell of 2 felonies, first-degree burglary and possession of burglary tools. Following the verdict on July 18th of this year, Senator Majority Leader Aaron Murphy reminded the public that Mitchell had pledged to resign if convicted and urged her to honor the commitment. I don't think she can do her job from jail.
Yeah, well, if she gets out, that'd be like one of those, like, you have to vote me out, motherfuckers. I mean, come on, man, get the fuck out of here. You are a colonel in the military and a lawmaker? Yeah, that ought to be on a dumb fucking idiot shit. I mean, and that's mind blowing.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to the story, but that just,
I think you said enough. That's stupid. And I got another. It's time for worldwide crime. You've got to remind me to call the people WL and I are supposed to call to try to make that fit in. And you don't have to boom that out because it directly ties into this. So we're going to the Turks and Caicos, right?
Are we really going to Turks and Caicos or just for a story?
No.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful island, beautiful water, beautiful diving. Everything is just beautiful. People come from all over the world to go to Turks and Caicos. Everything is beautiful except for what happened. And they said, what is happening here is unlike anything we've ever seen before. And that's according to the premier, Charles Washington Misk. And he said, this is not a situation we should accept. Well, you might ask, what's the situation? 3 people were killed and 10 others were injured at a popular nightclub in the Turks and Caicos Islands in what the locals are calling the island's first mass shooting. Not their worst, their first. 4 suspects were involved in the shooting on Providenciales early Sunday, and this according to Police Commissioner Fitz Bailey in the AP. Bailey called the shooting deeply disturbing and says no arrests been made yet. That doesn't really bode well for your police department. The fucking island's not that big. But so we are now having a gangland type slaying. And a lot of this gang violence seems to be concentrated in our Haitian communities, the same guy, Miss said. He encouraged the Haitian community to work with police to understand how guns are being smuggled into the Turks and Caicos Islands. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Got a house full of guns. Got guns everywhere. More guns than that I know that we have, right? But that's, our right to bear arms. It ain't like that. And most people in America forget the other countries, not even a lot of them, you're not even allowed to have shit. And certainly they don't have a gun manufacturing plant in the Turks and Caicos, right? So that shit is like, dope getting there is one thing, but a gun getting there is a whole different ball of wax. So anyway, again, he said, what is happening here is unlike anything we've ever seen before. And he told CBS News that the shooting injuries range from minor to serious and that 9 of the people injured had gunshot wounds. I'm pretty sure if you get a fucking gunshot wound, it's serious no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if it's a graze, it's serious to me if I got to get stitches. So the hospital in Providenciales was on lockdown to protect the shooting victims, while 2 of them were flown overseas for further treatment. Yeah, I'm sure they're not too familiar with gunshot wounds in Turks and Caicos. Turks and Caicos is not cheap.
No.
So
we're kind of paying for security, and we don't even have that there anymore.
Well, we're not going there anyway.
I know. I'm just saying in general.
They said $10,000 reward is being offered to those with any information that leads to the capture of the suspects involved, and they have yet to determine a motive for the shooting. They said this shooting comes at a time when the islands are cracking down on illegal immigration. And an estimated 10,900 Haitians live in the Turks and Caicos Islands, which represent 1/3 of the population. So they got like 40,000 people in the whole fucking island. Anyway, around 80% of the Haitians who live there live in Providenciales, 20% of whom have permanent residency. And that's according to the United Nations Humanitarian Affairs Office. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
You just can't fucking go anywhere. I don't know. They had to come in by boat. The guns probably came from the U.S., but they had to come in by boat. I mean, it's not like I can get on a plane with a firearm. I mean, you can check a firearm, but then it's when you leave the motherfucking country, you better have the firearm.
Don't they use a lot of like those small plane, like whatever the Alaskan type of planes, the Sea-Doo, whatever those are called, to smuggle and stuff? Can't they plane it in and just land in the water and just take off all the guns and then
But what do planes run on?
gas?
Yeah. A boat, you can carry extra gas and put it in while you're still at sea. A plane, those small planes like that only have like 300, 400 mile range. And if you run out of gas in midair, how are you going to refuel?
I understand that. I didn't realize that there's not a place to refill.
But anyway, that's crazy. Hate it. It happens everywhere now, I guess, and it's just the way it is. So I don't know. All right, what you got?
Got another Family Matters.
It's time for Family Matters.
We're going to San Antonio.
Let me some San Antonio.
Me too. So Charles Beard, who's 49, appeared calm and composed as deputies entered his San Antonio home in South Bexar County. Inside, they discovered human remains wrapped in plastic and other materials, decomposing, obviously, for several weeks.
Nice.
Investigators believe that the body belonged to his wife, 44-year-old Angela Bird. Relatives had raised concerns after Charles confessed to harming Angela. And so deputies went for a welfare check, and they arrived and located Charles hiding in a nearby home. And during questioning, he admitted to strangling his wife during a physical confrontation on June 16th. He also says that he bit her face, which drew blood. Charles stunned investigators with his demeanor, and they say that it was, he was saying, well, it's my first crime ever. He was like...
Good one to start with, buddy.
He said, literally, go big or go home.
Yeah.
Can you imagine interviewing someone and saying, yep, I did it, go big or go home?
Yeah, I got a lot of confessions, but no one ever said that.
Sheriff Javier Salazar later called that remark one of the most disturbing he's ever heard.
Because he didn't give a fuck.
Over the following month, Charles remained in the trailer. So when he murdered her, this is the backstory. He remained in the trailer with the decomposing body, and he had used many different things to try to mask the odor. He told his son that Angela had left him, even though the body was inside the trailer with him and his son. And his son eventually became suspicious when he noticed a foul smell and noticed a foul smell. Charles eventually confessed to his son and told him he would eventually be caught. I don't know how old the son is. So when authorities searched the property, they found not only the wrapped remains, but also blood stains, cleaning supplies, trash bags, and Angela's personal items hidden throughout the trailer. And X-ray scans confirmed human skeletal remains under the wrappings, and investigators noted the presence of decomposition fluids stored in containers.
Oh, God.
So he was arrested and charged with tampering with evidence for concealing a human corpse. Murder charges are pending. The medical examiner's confirmation of the cause of death, and at a later hearing, he was formally charged with murder, and he is being held in Bexar County on a $650,000 bond, and also pending a mental health evaluation.
Let me tell you how bad it's like a gel, the juice that your body makes when you die and you've been decomposing like that. I've never told this. I've literally had to go home and burn clothes. It won't come out. It's I said at the last live, you ever smell it, you'll fucking know it. And unfortunately, I've got it on me trying to move a body and it sloughs off. Even though you have gloves, you get on your shit and burn it.
Yeah.
Nothing else you can do. So this dude's living in a trailer in the middle of the summer. In June, it's hot as fucking San Antonio. I know. Been there, done that, worked there. And yeah, hopefully, I'm sure he's probably the one that called it in. There you go. Well, you know, you and I have been thinking about taking a trip out to a different part of Nevada, either Tahoe or Reno or whatever, right? Tahoe being more picturesque and rural, and you know, the lake and the mountains and stuff surrounded, and the other one, Reno, just being maybe like a mini Vegas or something, you know, the different places to try and all that. Well, tell you what, one place we're not going to, and it's called the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. And on Monday, July 28th at 7:25 a.m., we need a button for this.
Okay.
The 911 got a call to a report of an active shooter at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. So 2 people were killed and multiple others were wounded in the shooting outside the casino on Monday, July 28th. Officers responded to a report of an active shooter, and that's according to the Reno Police Department. Police said multiple victims were treated at the scene and taken to hospitals, though their conditions remain unclear. Now, according to the Associated Press, the Reno Gazette-Journal, and Fox News, officials said 2 people were killed in the shooting. Now, the gunman, and we don't know why or anything yet, y'all, and the gunman has not been identified, but, you know, take him into custody, you got to treat him like anybody else, and they gave him medical treatment. He's been treated for gunshot wounds after he got into a shootout with the police. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker has to sit on the ground and bleed for it. I would make sure he'd be cuffed. I'd make sure everybody else is taken care of and everything else. And if he bleeds out, he bleeds out. Fuck him. You're just shooting at me.
Exactly.
And now I got to take you to the hospital.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work in my world. So, but they say his condition remains unknown. And they said the Reno Police Department arrived on scene within 2.5 minutes. Officers immediately located the suspect, at which time an officer-involved shooting occurred. And they say it still remains an active investigation. The Sparks Police Department and the Washoe County Sheriff's Office are assisting in the case. And so we're trying to put together what happened. And if it happened at various locations, and that's according to Reno Mayor Hillary Sheave, what she said to the Reno Gazette. So anyway, we are gathering statements. Well, you know, in Reno, like they call Reno like the biggest little city in Nevada or something like that.
I think so. I don't know.
Man, Siri. What do they call Reno?
Here's an answer from Britannica.
The city of Reno in Nevada is traditionally known as the biggest little city in the world. So I mean, good for them if they don't have a lot of homicides, but they get assistance from other departments, and I guess they needed it.
Yeah.
Guys, maybe multiple locations, and they would be overwhelmed. Yeah. So at 7:25 in the morning.
That's horrible.
The what's going on at 7:25 in the morning? I get people might be gambling and shit, but I don't know what's going on down there in Reno. But that's all I got for today. Y'all go listen to Behind the Scenes, the podcast, and follow them, like it, and comment that you're a lifer.
Yes.
So Sheriff Arden and they, but also the it's a very important case near and dear to my heart, Miss Barbara Blunt's case, and we're going back over everything again. And we have information, man. We got a lot of shit, but just need more. So, and believe me, those guys are working their asses off on it. And to this, even as we speak, when we were on the air right now, I had 2 messages from Sheriff Art. So, regarding Miss Barbara, wouldn't it be something after all these years?
It would be amazing
to bring her home, or a piece of her home, and put the asshole
family. That's all I would want.
Put the assholes in jail. No, if you're her family, you'd want justice too.
Oh well, I'm sorry. I figured bringing her home brings justice too.
You're the ultimate fucking mama bear about any little thing. Would if one of your kids was killed, I feel sorry for the motherfucker that did it. Yeah.
I'm saying bringing her home in my world meant justice too. That's all. Yes, of course, I would want justice, and I would want every itty bitty wrongdoing, any law that was broken, I would want added to that.
Yeah, and
whatever
I'm sure
they would
would get that.
If they didn't wear their seatbelt once,
right, and then some, and if they killed them or raped them, they'd be lucky to ever make it to trial, because I'm pretty sure they'd be taking a trip down on murder by you.
Well, we might be sitting in jail together because
no, Woody Overton ain't going to jail. I'm too smart. Knock on wood.
You were talking about me doing that.
I don't need you to go to jail. You got shit to do.
That's for damn sure.
Right. All right. You got anything else?
No.
All right, me either. We love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you for liking and sharing the show. If you want to, leave a review. It's awesome, amazing, whole different fan base than the hashtag Justice for and the original Real Life Real Crime. Not a whole different fan base, but there's a lot that don't even listen to the other stuff that listen to this show.
Well, most of the time our people, like in our app, obviously, and then on Facebook, are avid Woody supporters. There's really no negative. And then you go to the TikTok world and there's like a-holes, like it's just a complete different person, a profile.
Get it. It's all part of being in the limelight.
Well, and I want a mama bear, and I know now after 7 years of doing this, there's no sense in doing it.
No sense in doing it. If I fucked up your day so bad, you want to leave an ugly comment? Great.
Yeah. So you want to be that ignorant that you don't understand certain things.
But you know what? For every one of those, we have tens of thousands of awesome lifers. And we love y'all and appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
Your host of True Crime Time for Wednesday, July 29th, 2025. We're out of here. Peace.